21.67 PB mean. Very nice. 3 out of 3 white yellow DR. So this first scramble is a 266, and for this kind of like distribution, you wouldn't expect the 2 side to be any good. But in this case, it just gave a lot of RZPs and DRs. So the bad edges are here, and you can do F prime RF. But in my solution, I ended up doing U2 F prime RF, and this gives a 3C2E. So I actually found 2 10 move to 2C3s from this EO, well, from variations of the F prime RF EO, but I only worked on one because of what happened. Anyway, from here you can set up to the like shape quite easily, so just R2 and then D prime U2 and just trigger. And from here, your bad corners are here and here, and you can do a U prime to set up to 4B22E. From here, it's not easy to set up to the 3 move trigger, but if we do a L2, right, we set up to this shape, whereas this is here and this is here. It's like kind of like this should be here, but it's here, and this should be here, but it's here. And this is actually a 5 move trigger. You can do D prime, R2, B2, F2, U prime, and I'm sure you can see that, sorry, U, and you can see that by doing a B2, you have like leaf slice, but you have 4 centers off. So this reached in 18. So from here, I just wanted to look for a way to insert a 4x. So that would be something like, for example, U2, D2, RL prime, F2, B2, R prime, RL prime, which would solve 4x. Wait. Yeah. And if we go back to the solution, when we're here, setting up to this, you notice we have a U2 D prime. So if we wanted to insert a U2 D2 here, it will actually cancel one move. We could just do a D. And then the move after the D prime U2 is a L. So if we insert U2 D2 L prime R, F2 B2 L prime R there, it will cancel the U2, so -2. It'll turn the D prime into a D, so -1, and then it'll remove the L, so -2. So that is 8 minus 5, which is just a +3. So if we do that, we do D L prime R, F2 B2 R prime, or R, and then we're just away from the trigger like that. So that adds 3 moves to our DR solution. And then it's just like, we just have to do the same moves just from the x2 away. So D prime, L2, U prime, R2, B2, F2, D, and then F2 to get to leaf slice in 21 this time. For the leaf slice, we have 3 QTs to work with and no half turns. Fortunately, it ended up being a +1. So D prime, L2, Y D prime, R2, B2, F2, D Y prime, D2, F2. So that makes it a 22. This next scramble is 866, and I did red orange EO. Bad edges are here, 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 and these 3. And we can do R to make it 4 bad, and then they're here, here, and here. And you can do B prime, U2, L. So from here we have a 4C6E, but this obviously doesn't look too good. However, if we rotate it, we can see that this axis is in JZP, right? We have, I mean, it just is in JZP. So what this means is that when we switch, the 4C6E axis will be in JZP, and that's good because, I mean, you have a chance of getting a very good solution. And indeed, if you switch, you just have the trigger set up. These are bad and these are bad, and you can do B prime, R2, F prime to solve DR in 7 moves. So that's kind of crazy. And this is a 4A2, which isn't too great. So I reached this in like 13 minutes, and there's so many possibilities to check, and I ended up finding the solution with only 3 minutes left. So it's 4a2, and what you want to do for 4a2 is you want to get them diagonally and then do a QT to make it 4a1. Right now the bad corners are here, so you do u to r2u to make it 4a1 4e, and then now you have these bad, you have this bad, this bad, this bad, and this corner. Is that it? Oh, and this. Yeah, and you can do r2 u2 f2 to get everything except this one, and then r2 f2 r2 d prime to solve HDR. And from here, b2 l2 u2 b2 l2, and the L2 cancels with the L, which was the last move of the EO, so that's -1. So this is leaf slice in 21. So for the leaf slice, you do u2 L2 b2 d wide r2 f2 r2 f2 uy2 r2 uy prime r2 u2 for +0. So that's a 21. This is the last solve, and it is a 266 again, weirdly. And I did the 2 axis again. You have bad edges here, so I did, this is the inverse scramble, d prime f prime l prime f to solve EO. And from here I actually switched, and you get this, and doing r prime gets you to 4c4e, and this is like that one trigger that Wen used to get the last solve of his 19.33 world record mean. So you set it up by doing d u2, and then if you do L here, it changes, like it's a RZP move, but it's still 4c4e, and then it's like set up very nicely, u prime b2 u l, and that's a 12 move DR, but it's 2c3 4e, and I really didn't find much better, so that's what I did. So U brings it to 4b2 4e, and we're very closely set up d2 and the trigger. So this from here, it's not good because you have like these two are one, like f2 or b2 move away, but these two are bad. So instead of doing that, you do d prime, and then you insert s2 here, and then r2, and then a u. And as I'm sure you can tell, this is just 3 moves away, and the f2 cancels with the last f of the EO. So this is a slice in 21. So for the leaf slice, you do r2 y d prime, f2 b2 r2, and then from here it's y do u2 f2 y d2. So that's a +1 for 22, so 22 21 22 21.67.